So you can see what we have right here. You can see that our budget adjustments, like our entire budget, our FY21 budget, really, it came out, it was blown out. It shows you each of the individual elements, and then it shows us the total budget right here. So right now we're showing a lot of detail, and we're really showing a rolled up level of the accounts. You can see that we can actually expand the account detail to give us a little bit more information. You can drill into any of these accounts here. But for the most part, this report's not really going to tell us what we're looking for, because remember, we're trying to go for a budget to actual report. And we're also looking at a very high level right now. So there's really not a whole lot of information that this is going to be telling us right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back into the modify report button, which is this little pencil up here in the top right hand corner of your screen. So we'll go ahead and click this little pencil right here. And what it does is it just brings us right back to our report design, where we're designing this report. So it's just an easy place to just come back into. Like I said, we're going to get very familiar with this screen here. So what I can do right here is when we ran this report, we saw that the FY21 budget was showing us not only the total budget, but was also showing us all those individual elements that were in the budget. And so for this report, for the purpose that we'll just say today, is we don't need to see those individual detailed elements. What we want to do is we just want to see it from a rolled up perspective. So you can see right here on the FY21 budget, and you can actually look over here on the very right-hand side. You can see if you look at the right-hand side of where it says FY21 versus the FY21 budget, you can see how this one is just showing the little blue dot is filled in on the top, and all the dots on the right-hand side are clear or blank. That's because what that's telling me is this is a rolled up version where you can actually expand this detail a little more, but this is on a rolled up version. Since we see all the dots here on the right-hand side are filled in blue, this is telling me that I can see that these elements are already blown out a little bit. So what we can do is we can actually just right click this FY21 budget, and we'll go into manage hierarchy. Because what this is doing right here, it's set on custom. What this is doing, this is how the hierarchy is going to display on our screen here. And so it's set on custom, and when you see the custom, it's really showing me how the custom view is what it's showing me here. This is why we could see here's the FY21 budget, and this is why we saw all of these individual elements: the startup, the true up, the PO roll, and the budget adjustments. So you have different options here, and what we'll do here is we'll just say always collapse, because for this purpose we don't really need to see the individual blown out view. Another way to do it is just from custom, if I just did the custom and applied that. But what we'll do is we'll select always collapsed and just hit apply. And so now you can see on the right hand side that little icon over here. Now it's showing us that it's now at a rolled up version and not a completely blown out version. So what we can go ahead and do is we can go ahead and run it here. I'll just run it real quick. You don't have to run your report, but I just want to show you. So now you can see all those different elements there on the top just went away. So now it's a lot more of a concise rolled up version. Okay. So hearing none, we'll go back into the modify report. If you ran your report, we'll go back to the modify report. If you're not, if you're in here, we can work through this. So now let's go ahead, and that's what we'll do is we'll add our FY21 actuals. So what we have two different options here, and we'll go into a different segment level here soon. Like I'll show you how we can look at different segments and where that will become relevant here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to sit there and we'll go back into our versions, because remember we have to specify a version at a time. And we can go blow out the actuals again. So I'm going to hit the little button right here. And under total actuals, there's this, you can see where it kind of just all drives down into this actual button right here. And so what we can do is we can just take this actual and drag it over here. And what we'll do is we'll drag it to the left of where it said the FY21 budget. And so remember what I said, we always need a time and we always need a version. So the time and the version relates to the individual segment. And remember, the segment here is this box right here, this blue box. Remember when we added that blue box? So even though I only have one time specified here, since this is the hierarchy, this time period right here is actually applying for both of our versions here. So it doesn't matter. Since we're all in the same segment, we still have a time element, which is FY21, and we have our version element, which are the actuals in the FY21 budget. Now we can go ahead and just run this report. We'll just do a really quick run here. And so now what we can do is, again, we can now see our FY21. We can see our FY21 actuals and our FY21 budgets here. And so it's just a very basic, high level, like I said, very basic, high level budget to actual report. with what we have our ability to, you can actually go into your individual accounts and you can see what our actuals are versus what our budget is on each of these individual accounts. And so you can see where all the information is kind of flowing through here. Now, what's happened though is this report still isn't as useful as we'd want it to be. It shows at a very high level and it's showing at your access level, but we really haven't specified, we haven't gotten into a number of the different elements on here. So what we're going to do is now I'm going to show you how we're going to work on some filters. We're going to do some filters and I'll show you how we can get to some of the budget roll-ups as well.